Hey, today is May 31st, 2013. So that means that I'm celebrating my 6 months on T, not 3 months. So it's been half a year since I've been doing it. It's a really long time. And I figured I'd just do kind of an overall video of changes that I've noticed and things that have been happening throughout the first 6 months to kind of look at it as like a chunk of time. Um, so I'm in my new apartment, which is awesome because I was having a lot of difficulties with one of my roommates from before, and it was adding on to some of the depression and dysphoria that I've been feeling lately, um, which when I had my injection on Wednesday, my spirits lifted a whole bunch because, you know, it was my off week for T, and usually the last couple days I get kind of depressed and I feel really crappy. Um, but it's been a little bit worse lately just because Victoria hasn't been here, and she's usually my go-to person when I have dysphoria and I feel really crappy. So I've been having to deal with it on my own for the first time, which is great. It's giving me a lot of like coping tools and things like that. But everything's gotten better within the last week, so I'm happy about that. I had my 6-month doctor's appointment checkup to check my levels because they were low last time, and it's a controlled substance, so I have to go in to get my new script. And while I was there, they weighed me, and I haven't done anything in regard to my weight, like looking at it. I literally just like eat when I'm hungry and try to avoid spending any money on food because I'm a poor, post-college grad now. But when I started T, I think I was weighing like 170-ish. I don't know. I gained quite a bit of weight right before I started T, and so when I got on it, I actually went up to like 195, which is the most I've weighed since high school. And it was really difficult because I was like, I need to be working out, but I was too stressed out and I had way too much going on in my life, and that's the first thing to get cut out. So I haven't really been working out too much, but my weight is down to 175, and so whatever I'm doing is apparently making me lose weight. And I was talking to a couple people who were like, you're gonna have to start eating like crazy just to maintain body weight because your metabolism kicks up so much. So I'm looking forward to that. And I really want to start working out because I need to get my muscle mass built back up. It's been great because where I am right now as far as muscles is like where I was when I was at my peak of working out, and I haven't done a thing in 6 months, longer than 6 months. So I'm really happy about that. I don't have a whole lot of muscle definition in the first place, but right now it just, no matter what I do, it's at least maintaining at like a good place. So I'm happy, and I know once I do start working out, it's gonna explode even more. Um, that kind of gave me a nice reminder. One of the biggest shifts that I've seen, especially lately, as my dosage went up, is that I'm sweating like crazy, which I was before. Don't get me wrong. When I first started T, I never used to sweat that much, but since I've been on T, it's been absurd. And I know it's also because it's summer now, so it's been a lot warmer, but I'm just swampy all the time. It's real fun. And obviously along with that comes some really great body odor. I smell like a 15-year-old, like locker room, like a high school locker room. And I'm like, oh, that's cool because I'm 22 and it's not like I'm trying to get a job and I need to smell good or anything. So that's a little frustrating because I already went through puberty once, and I had to deal with the acne and the body odor and stuff, and it's like right when I had just gotten out of that, like for a couple years, I get to go right back into it. So and that's gonna calm down in a couple months or years, so I can't be too frustrated about it, knowing that it's gonna get better. Recently I've noticed, this is something I hadn't been paying attention to, but I've seen it in the past 2 weeks probably, is that my hairline's starting to recede. So that's exciting. I don't think it's necessarily that my hair is thinning, because I've already had super thin hair like my entire life, and it doesn't look any different really. But the front of it, like, these work weird. It's like squared up, so I think it gives my head like a wider appearance too, other than the fact that my head is bigger, but the hairline's actually helping. So I think it's just becoming more masculine, not necessarily that I'm going bald, or that's a whole other thing to deal with. And also, facial hair is pretty cool right now. Obviously, you can't see it because it's on a crappy webcam, but I can see it, and that's what matters to me. And I think it's visible kind of when I go out places. But I've got a pretty good rad neck beard happening. And I have the first couple chin hairs, like, actually on the front of my chin. And I've got a pretty good crustache going. I mean, it's, I'm happy with it. I don't care. My sideburns are coming down, and I can feel like this area getting fuzzier, and it's more than it was before, but it's still not at all even close to getting like a couple beard hairs there. I know that's gonna eventually fill in, but I really need to shave. Yeah, I do. Sorry. Other than that, body hair, I mean, I talk about it all the time because I think it's one of the most visible changes for myself. I notice it a lot. And so, like, my leg hair is thickened, my eyebrow hair is thickened, arm hair, my happy trail. It's not, like, all over yet. It's starting to get into an all-over state, like, it's just exploding on my stomach. I've got a really hairy ass. It's gonna be pretty ridiculous, but it's cool. That one of the first things I noticed actually going on T is, so within the first 2 weeks, I think like a lot of guys experience this, the first change I noticed at all was confidence, and then the first physical change I noticed was that I had growth downstairs, which has slowed up, but it still hasn't stopped, and I know it won't for like the next year or whatever. And that's helped with dysphoria quite a bit, but it's also increased it, because I mean, that's a whole nother talk, just a dysphoria one alone, but it's kind of a trade-off. There's been some good and bad things with it. And then the second thing that was great for my dysphoria was that I think I had, after I started T initially, within that first month, I had my last Shark Week. And that was a huge point of dysphoria for me. So the fact that those stopped really quickly was awesome. That was absolutely like a lifesaver for me. I've had a couple like scares where I thought that maybe the past couple months were gonna creep up on me and explode in like the most terrible thing ever. But it hasn't so far, just like once or twice. So I'm staying positive that nothing is going to actually happen. But who knows? My voice has dropped a bunch. I talk about it a lot. That was also a big point of dysphoria for me, and it's helped, but I still would like it to drop a little bit more. And I guess I don't feel like I've had a whole bunch of like mental and emotional changes. They've all been pretty minimal. I like can see things shifting, but it's not extreme. The big one is confidence, though. When I walk, I feel like I'm walking bigger. Like I walk more upright, except for the binder slouch, I do that a lot. But I feel like I take up more space and I walk with like intention or something. I don't know. I think it's like partly because I feel more confident, and so I'm like, yeah, like walking down the street, like, yeah, I'm a dude. It's awesome. Like, come at me. But then the other part of it is that I want to be perceived that way. And so when I'm taking up more space, people tend to gender me correctly, as opposed to when I'm like, just like, oh, hey. So it's been great. I'm very happy with everything so far. And I will be updating soon from my new apartment, hopefully once it gets all finished. So I'll see you later.